Top5rapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Today we got CD of the week number 6, Marvin Gaye, I Want You. One of the greatest album covers of all time. Shout out to Ernie Barnes. We've seen this album cover replicated on Camp Lo's Uptown Saturday Night, and also Lil B's I'm Gay, I'm Happy album. In addition to being probably the best album cover of all time, one of the best sounding albums of all time. And big shout out to Ware, who produced this album. Ware, musical savant. He also did Minnie Riperton's album. If you know the song Inside Your Love, very great song. Ware just sets a very great mood, very great tempo for this album. Let's take a look at this CD. Easily my favorite album of all time. To me, it's the best album I've heard. Front to back, no skips, best album, any genre, rap, hip hop, indie rock, what have you. Marvin Gaye, I Want You is the best album of all time, in my opinion. It's just a seamless play, 11 songs, and it starts out with the intro, I Want You, the title track. It's just musical excellence. You can hear all the instruments. The intro track, I Want You, kind of starts out with instrumental. You hear all the instruments and it's kind of building up. Just the basic instrumentation is so engaging. The song doesn't really start until a minute and a half in, but the instrumentation building up, you don't even notice. It feels like 10, 20 seconds. It goes by so quickly. Instrumentation builds up all the way until Marvin Gaye finally comes in, silky smooth vocals at about a minute and a half into the song. And man, his vocal performance, I think there's a slight reverb on his voice. His voice kind of sounds like a bit echoey, but it plays perfectly with the production. You got all these, it's so much stuff going on. The intro track is so great that on track number 6, they ran it back. So you don't see this on albums often. They ran it back on track number 6. It's just I Want You, but it's no vocals. There's no vocals, it's just the instrumental. So they run the whole track back and it plays from front to back, just the instrumental. Great job, great idea. Again, Ware on the production, T-Boy Ross and Hal Davis also on the production. Barry Gordy and Marvin Gaye, executive producers. So yeah, man, I bought this album at Mad Platter Riverside. So Mad Platter is no longer in operation, RIP Mad Platter. But I bought this at Mad Platter in Riverside. I'm kind of flipping through albums, just seeing what's in there like I usually do. And I see this album and I look at the cover. And I'm like, I've seen this cover before and I've seen this cover imitated. This is Marvin Gaye, so this must be the origin of the album cover. This kind of like just black party, people enjoying themselves. The Sugar Shack, I think it's called. It's a very iconic picture, and I had seen this album cover imitated again on the Camp Lo and on the Lil B albums. And I'm like, okay, this must be the origin. And it's Marvin Gaye, so I know musically it's going to be great. Let me just go ahead and buy this. So I bought this album. One of the best decisions musically I've ever made. I threw this on and the first track plays and I'm just like, yo, this album is amazing. And then it goes into track number 2, Come Live With Me, Angel. So you've heard this sample before. I wanna be a lover. This is the origin of the sample. And the thing is, the intro track is so good, right? I was afraid to move on in the album. Like on first listens, I was afraid, I'm not gonna like any of these songs as much as I like this intro song. But every song kind of keeps the same elements that makes you love the intro track, I Want You. It has that same Ware production, the same atmospheric vibe, similar instrumentation. It's very cohesive, but the songs are not repetitive or too similar. So it is a very well executed album. I'll kind of save some of my comments on this album. I bought this on CD at Mad Platter years ago, but then I think my dad borrowed it or something, and now the original CD that I bought, no one knows where it's at now, but we'll save that story for another day. So I went ahead and rebought this, but I kind of saved some of my comments on this album because in addition to buying it on CD, I also bought the vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So this is a record that I gotta have on vinyl. I was actually going through my grandma's old records, and I'll go into this story more in my Vinyl of the Week episode that I do on this. But I was going through my grandma's old records, and I noticed that she had I Want You. She had this album on vinyl. Like I have it in my possession, but it doesn't have a sleeve. And then a lot of the records are water damaged. So I'm like, man, like I hope it works. I hope it works. I'm like, let me just buy it myself. So yeah, man. You know what I mean? But you know, we'll go more into this during Vinyl of the Week. You know, this is a 5-star album. There's no skips. There's nothing. There's no critiques you can leave on this album. Perfect album. Very well executed. If you are not familiar with Leon Ware, get familiar. He's done many Ripperton's albums, and he also has albums of his own. I will definitely be buying and doing Leon Ware albums, vinyl, CDs in the future because his production is absolutely amazing. So yeah, that was CD of the week. Marvin Gaye, I Want You, best album of all time. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you've never heard this album, you're curious about the album, just go on YouTube, go wherever you stream music, play I Want You. Make sure it's the vocal track, not just the instrumental. You can just play the instrumental too. Just play I Want You. If that doesn't drive you to listen to the rest of the album, something may be wrong with you. You know, amazing, amazing album, man. So yeah, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And this is Top 5 WrapUpSite.com. Peace.